which is basically the overall energy, and it can mean like the topic of the reading. What I feel is like you may be dealing with some very unfair situations at work right now. This can mean taking the blame for someone else, or others are trying to, undermine the quality of your work. Okay. Um, it could be kind of tempting for you right now, to fight fire with fire right now, but this is just going to worsen the situation, okay? So remain reasonable right now. You're not being logical right now, okay? So be logical, and very forthright with how you want to handle this situation. It could also mean that you yourself haven't been very honest when it comes to your business or your career, okay? This can lead to trouble for you in the near future, okay? Even if it doesn't, it can lead to something which is going to be continued anxiety, and while you wonder, the other shoe's also going to drop, okay? So you still have time, make amends and change your habits right now, okay? If you've been avoiding accountability for a mistake that you've made and hoping that the blame will fall on someone else, not only are you eroding the trust between you and your colleagues or your boss, but you're also throwing away a chance to learn from your mistakes and grow, okay? So right now, take it how it resonates. In the past, we had the Queen of Wands. So I feel, I feel that you were really, really, very, very motivated. Okay, that's like your energy, both your energy and your ability to execute your ideas and work. Okay, you had both of them. Okay, whatever you were facing in your career in the past. Okay, your approach was with a lot of determination and passion. Okay, that drive. It can apply to a general situation at work, okay, or more specific to your position at work, okay. You were ready to be in a leadership, or you were even leading a very successful role in your career. Yeah, you could have been a mentor to other people also, or you could you could have started serving as a role model, okay. A lot of people would have been looking up to you as someone like a role model. So, I'm getting you were in force in your field, okay. In the past year, you had like that energy and passion to lead others in a particularly meaningful and positive way, okay. Right now, we have something, oh my god, which is called the Tower card. Now, this to me tells me two things. Either there is a sudden job loss or a business that you need to shut down right now. There's a lot of workplace chaos right now, or there's just some kind of workplace disruption going on. Yeah, this is a lot of stress right now, okay, when it comes to your job or your business or your career. This is a sudden job loss, like I said, okay, or this could also be the other way where you could like sudden shake up and you're in the position of getting a new position, which is creating a lot of chaos, okay, because there's just been a sudden increase of responsibilities, okay, something from the outside environment, like a new boss or the loss of a colleague, which can mean disasters happening in the workplace, anything, okay. So it is important to remember that at this time, things can be very, very frustrating, okay. And it is possible for these temporary messes to lead to a better long-term future, okay, which is like a blessing in disguise. So maybe a job that suits you better, maybe you're getting to a job that suits you better, and right now you're like, what the hell, overall, how can I mean, all of a sudden, how can I be shifted to something else? There's so much responsibilities, I'm not very good at this, etc. Or, something will lead, maybe there's a boss or a colleague that's completely left, and things will lead to a more peaceful workplace in the long term, okay? So your biggest issue out here, which is helping or hindering the situation, I'm getting more like hindering, okay? This shake up, I'm getting you're not being able to take it in a very good way. Right now, when it comes to work, right, your biggest issue out here is that you're feeling that waiting and uncertainty, okay, about what you should be doing right now. Maybe your projects are on pause, okay, or something's just forcing you to take a break, or maybe you're waiting and contemplating about what your next move should be. That's what I'm saying. Either you're leaving a job, letting go of a job where things were not fair, or something like that's happened, okay. But right now with the Hangman here, I'm feeling that you're forced to take a break, and your biggest challenge is that you're not wanting to take a break. You're overthinking things. This is a lesson in the card here, okay. It's a major arcana. This lesson is that sometimes, no matter what, you cannot force a decision or changes to occur when things are not at the right time. All you need to do is just wait, and things that you were pushing for so hard, whether it's a response from a business partner, a colleague, or a decision from a client, or even a decision on what you want to do, whether to change your career or whatever, right? It'll come. You need to relax. It'll come at the right time. You need to just be. Okay, I feel it could also be that you're in a process of making a big, huge change in your business or your career. It looks like a big step. So What looks like taking a step backward is actually just more like, I feel it's just more of a calculated process to realign your path, okay, with something that is more fulfilling. So I think this is your biggest blockage here. I feel that you feel this is like a forced break on you. I don't really want it. You want to keep going on, without thinking. And this is what your biggest blockage is. Okay, so think this Tower moment is coming in, or it already has, right? Now this is going to be your biggest influencer. So see to it that if you're not wanting to take a break, please take a break. Okay, maybe there's a new career move that's not working for you, there's procrastination, okay, whatever it is, you need to step back and look at things from an exterior point of view. Okay, see, because on your mind here, the Chariot, right, the Chariot is someone who's got that strong ambition, that motivation, that control at work. Okay, your ambition will take you really, really far. You're very ambitious. All right, like I said, with the Queen of Wands and the Chariot here, I really like that. With a clear understanding, you know what you want for your career, you know your destination, and you're very, very focused on getting there. Okay, you're probably even, like I said, you're feeling very motivated. You're giving that discipline, that drive, that self control that you need to get success. Okay, if you're looking to change roles or get to a more senior position at your current workplace, this card also says that all you need to do is go for it. Go for it. Okay, hands down, go for it. And when it comes to your work environment, just stay clear of any distractions. Okay, which can mean office politics, rivals. Just make sure you remain focused on what you need to do. Okay? But anyways, this is what's on your conscious mind, so this is already awesome. The reason for the reading or the root of the issue is the Five of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. This is telling me that right now, this is the main issue out here, that if you're going through any problems here, this suggests that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, things are likely to return back to normal from the Tower moment. Okay, so again, whatever that shake up has happened, things will get normal. Okay, this is something that you don't see coming. Difficult situations are going to get better. Okay, and you're probably even going to find out that you may probably have found another job that values you for what you do. Okay, so just look out for opportunities. I feel things will get better for sure. Okay. In the near future, we do have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse again. This is another blessing in disguise to me. Things are changing very, very quickly for you. Okay, probably things in your work life are changing quickly, and you're finding it really, really difficult to keep up. Okay, at the moment, this is the near future. All right. So this change that you're having, right? You're not being able to give it time. You're getting restless, and that's why probably in the near future you're not being able to grasp that change. Okay, you may try to keep, you may keep trying to make a past solution work. Okay, instead of flowing with the events that are unfolding right now. Okay, these could be some very surprises. These are surprises that may feel very like all of a sudden, like absolutely destructive in your plans. Okay, like, okay, this is something that I didn't expect. I wanted things to go my way. But sometimes things don't go your way because you need to break a negative cycle here. There is something that you're constantly doing again and again and again, and that pattern is not breaking. And because of that, the universe is bringing in changes and trying to detour you from your goal in order for you to learn some lessons. Maybe your responsibilities are changing at work, and the thing out here is, instead of remaining flexible, you know, and instead of being ready to change your plans, you're being very, very stubborn right now. Okay, you're sticking to what you know. Maybe your projects need updating, and it's a very frustrating delay. Okay, but instead of fighting it, I feel in the near future you're gonna try and figure out your own process to deal with it. So don't. It's important that you make sure you find your center. Okay, find your center here, which means be a little grounded. More than anything, if there is something that's all of a sudden not going your way and it's just leaving you high and dry, and you're like, dude, this is not something I expected. That's okay, but this is a blessing in disguise. Take it from me, okay? This is a blessing in disguise. There's something that is not meant to occur right now, because your biggest challenge is for you want to keep your mind racing. You want to keep thinking about it. You don't want to give that pause. For you, that pause is like a forced break. But because you're not doing it, right, it's just going to happen in the near future because you're resisting it. You want to go with the chariot full speed, okay? You want to keep moving forward because your aim is to get out of any kind of issues. Maybe this is recovering a debt, or maybe just coming out of any financial issues, and making things better. But slowing down is what you need to do, okay? Take some time to think about your next move in this. Right now, how you see yourself, see, this is exactly what I'm saying. This is the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, okay? She's A very talented business person, okay, a very good business person, but right now she's being a bad business partner, okay, or someone unreliable or someone jealous. Your career, the way you look at yourself right now, is that your career can be a little chaotic right now, okay, and you need to find, you're finding it really hard to get a stable income, okay. If not a stable income, if this is a business, you're finding it really hard to get that stability within yourself, okay. You're probably your confidence, you know, and your capabilities are not being able to inspire right now. You have it, you have the confidence, you have the capabilities, okay, but they're taking a backstand right now. This is either you, but this definitely is you. This is not your environment. Right now, I feel this is you who's not being a good business partner or a good colleague, you know. But you're probably being very lazy right now, okay, and you're being very terrible at managing your task. Either you have too much going on, or you're just not being able to manage everything. Okay, just be very cautious. Be very cautious because this is you who can create more problems than you would otherwise, you know, be creating. So yeah, just be very careful. That's someone very not focused, you know, someone very selfish on the other hand, okay. So yeah, this, there could be either you're jealous of someone, okay, or there's a lot of gossip and envy around you, whatever, but this is how you see yourself, this is what you're doing. Very very focused, holding on money, you know, and not putting in the right energies, you know. Right now what you should be doing is you should be very focused, like I said, right. You're very capable. You can get what you can put your mind to. But the problems here is you're being very impractical. You're not being grounded. You're not being organized. You know, stuff like that. And that's why what you're going through right now is what you're going through. In your environment, we have the page of cups in reverse here. Okay, so there is something where you're feeling very emotionally vulnerable at. Okay, there's a creative block, or you can just feel very insecure at work right now. Probably you're having issues dealing with your feelings at work, you know, or this is just a very unprofessional attitude. See, very unprofessional attitude, okay? And this is probably you're letting your emotions get the best of you. You're getting very overwhelmed. Now, when we are in new situations, sometimes, you know, we may be faced with feelings that we don't know how to channel into something positive. So if your line of work is a creative field, this can suggest that you've had a very hard time dealing with creative blocks. You're lacking that inspiration. Okay, so this will pass. But if you can remember the reason of why you fell in love with what you're doing right now, your business or whatever job you're doing right now, you can be able to do it. Okay, you need to find that inspiration right now. And I think because of the way you are projecting yourself, or because of your attitude right now, I have a feeling that your that anxiety, that stress, you know, it's getting worse. Your stresses are becoming real. There's something that you're stressing a lot about, and that stresses are turning out to be real. Okay, maybe there's negativity that you've had at your work. Okay, and there is probably your situation truly has completely collapsed. Okay, and it's just getting worse. You may have completely burnt out, or you're unable to even go to work because of your stress. Okay, so just understand the whole picture. Okay, but a change in your attitude is needed. The issues that you're facing in our workplace, right? Either it can start to lessen up or it can get worse. But I feel it's getting worse here. Because if you haven't figured out that your work situation isn't as bad as it seemed, you know, it probably only needed to develop some changes in your attitude. But your attitude right now, seriously, with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse here, it's not going to work. This is a very, very bad businesswoman, okay, or a businessman. Don't go by the gender, it's just the energy of the cards here. Someone who's making wrong investments, bad investments, okay, someone who's jealous, etc. Okay. So greedy, stingy, okay. So what I'm saying here is that if you're not going to change your attitude, you're going to get burned out, and you're probably not even going to be able to go to work. Okay, so be very careful about that. And because you're not careful, your likely outcome is the Four of Swords in reverse here. Seriously, this does not look like to me that things are getting better. You need a vacation. You need like that mental health rejuvenation. You need to rest. You need to self-care. But that's something that you're not doing. Okay, you've probably been putting in all your work. You know, you're putting in 100%, and work could be very, very busy and frustrating. But the thing is that you're not taking that time off. You need that time off, okay? You need to get refreshed from probably a vacation or a time off, Or at the outcome here with the Four of Swords in reverse here, your stress levels are going to go out, all out. Okay. Continuing work right now, despite needing rest, is going to be the worst thing for you. You may want to reconsider continuing working right now. You're not in the right state of mind. Your coping strategies with stress are absolutely horrible, and you're going to reach that point of exhaustion and burnout. Okay, you may also want to try and consider changing jobs if you're not very happy with the situation, okay? Or if the situation doesn't get better. But yeah, if you're not refreshed, if you're not rejuvenated, or if you don't take the time away, the situation is going to cause you a lot of suffering and frustration before it gets, worst. So be more aware of your stress levels, okay? Be more aware of your stress levels. So overall, what I see out here is that it's this tower moment out here which is causing this abrupt feeling out here with the justice in reverse here. Again, either there is some blame game going on with the justice in reverse here, or there is just something that has completely come on you all of a sudden, and you just think something's unfair. Okay? Again, dishonesty, or you're just not being able to be accountable. What's the justice in reverse? What is the justice in reverse? Page of Wands in reverse. You're losing the motivation. You're not being able to work. The Page of Wands in reverse is usually the card of, someone who's, lacking that vigor. Like, you want to do a lot of things, but you're not being able to, because you're lacking that motivation. You're very bored at your job, and you're lacking that persuasion, in pursuing your goals, etc. Because of whatever's going on. Okay, now again, it can go two ways. Either it's because you yourself are being bored and you're lacking that, like I said, right, not being accountable at work, or there is something that's been unfair in your work environment, okay, which is forcing you to, screw this. Things are just not fair, it's not my way, or something's just not being balanced. There's a very strong need to rectify a situation. Something's not being right for you, and you feel the need to cop out. Something is coming in, or has already come in all of a sudden, which is putting you in this tight spot of wanting to think about things. If you don't take this break with a hangman here, which is your blockage here, it's going to be very stressful for you. The hangman, this is important. If it's a forced break, take it. Think about it. Think about the next steps in your career. Okay? Otherwise, if you don't do it, the universe is most probably going to delay your goals. This is going to be very frustrating, and you're not going to be able to get away out. Okay, some external environment is going to come in, and you're just going to be helpless about it. You can change your internal environment, but not the external, right? So that's what is going to happen. And this entire row, okay, which is all directed towards you and the environment, it's stress, 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 stress. So yeah, you need to take care of that. So yes, let me just see what the tower is. Why is the tower here? Where is the tower? What is the tower? Knight of Pentacles. Maybe there has been a change in a routine. Change in a routine. The Knight of Pentacles is someone, who constantly follows that same routine, over and over and over and over again. Maybe there's been a change in routine here, okay? Something's come in and that's completely shaken up your routine, like probably you have your schedule set every day. You're a very, very focused, okay? Very focused, very goal oriented, slow, steady, but someone very reliable. But this is someone who's very, who again, like I say, routine, okay? Someone very punctual, someone very focused on their work, career, their goals, okay? Someone who's probably even like a workaholic, not getting so much out there, but still, okay? And I think with the tower here, something's come and just disrupted your entire routine here. You probably are someone who's very slow moving, okay? And that's what's affecting you right now. Because you just feel that there's been a huge shake up and your work life is very, very chaotic right now. That's what it was. And you need to take a break. It's very important. Take some time out. That's a very spiritual, very meditative energy. Think about what you want to do.